Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. And we'll give you guys the first perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty dicey one for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, as you guys know, Charles Barkley made some comments just the other day on TNT where he was essentially going at people at ESPN, calling them a bunch of idiots. In specific, he named somebody by the name of Kendrick Perkins and called him a fool because Kendrick Perkins said that the Lakers are saving the NBA. Charles got pissed off for one specific reason. He goes, you have the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are, almost 40 games above 500. I believe they're 38 games above 500. You have the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are having a historic season. They just actually had their longest winning streak in the history of that franchise. They've won 16 in a row. They have a 56-10 record. And he's like, you're talking about them as they're the ones. You got Boston and all, and you're talking about they're the ones that are like they're saving the season. So Charles Barkley got pissed off. Obviously, everybody I'm sure has heard what Charles Barkley had to say. Then Stephen A. Smith came out. He responded to it. Kendrick Perkins came out, initially responded to it. I think on Twitter, he said what he said. I think we covered that momentarily. Well, it looks like during the recent taping of a podcast, Kendrick Perkins, Richard Jefferson were discussing this, and Kendrick Perkins decided to really go at Charles Barkley and basically send him a warning like, yo, if you think you're going to come over here, and then over here talking about ESPN and change things and do all of that, you must have another thing coming. And he's basically saying you don't want none of the smoke anyway and all of that. I'm like, yo, Kendrick Perkins is not playing with Charles Barkley, and he's taking this pretty personal. So this is the comments that we want to get into. Before we even get into what Perk had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. Prize Picks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least two for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on Prize Picks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play safe, you'll love Prize Picks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do now is we want to play what Kendrick Perkins had to say in response to, no, not in response, just as a message to Charles Barkley, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to what Kendrick Perkins had to say here.
Perk says that he ain't bothering anyone, but someone's bothering Perk. And we need to hear about it.
What you talking about that?
How do you feel, Perk? You don't like being called a fool and an idiot. I wouldn't like that either.
You know what? I've been waiting on this moment.
I know
I've been waiting on this moment because while Charles Barkley went on this rant or whatever he went on, he was wrong in so many ways throughout that rant. He started off by saying, oh, I want all the smoke. Motherfucker, no, you don't, because I could be the smoke. You don't want all the smoke, and you ain't doing nothing. So that's number one. Number two, here's the problem that I have. He knows good and well that he hasn't been watching ESPN, right? He saw a clip during a segment on NBA Today with me talking about the Lakers, right? Me talking about the Lakers and how the Lakers have saved the NBA. Charles Barkley like, oh, Lakers ain't saved no NBA. This idiot, this fool. I'm like, see, you're wrong again. The Celtics are great, right? Didn't they win the championship?
Yes.
Okay. They have Jaylen Brown. They have Jason Tatum. So they have the star and superstar power. The Knicks, Shannon said, they're relevant. Jalen Brunson, he's, brought that organization back to life. Now, you look at the Lakers. They was popular. They was cute when they had Anthony Davis. I get it. But when they got Luka, an international superstar, and they start winning games.
It's hard to make the Lakers bigger.
He did that.
Yeah, that's why it's hard. LeBron did that. They're like, obviously, but Luka, he rose the Lakers, and that's hard to do. Like when KG went to the Celtics, KG raised the Celtics, and that's hard to do.
So you get there and you start winning games so much that you're number 2 in the Western Conference, one of the hottest teams in the NBA. And now all of a sudden you become a legit title contender. Like you start looking at the West, you go and you have impressive wins against the Denver Nuggets, and you become a legit title contender. Now all of a sudden people are like, hold on, it's getting towards the end of the season. You mean to tell me in June we could possibly see Celtics and Lakers? Now all of a sudden people want to tune in, right? People are more excited about June. People want to see who's going to stop them from meeting up in the NBA Finals. To me, that sounds like it's a savior for the NBA, me just thinking about it. So then I'm like, all right, cool. One thing I would never do is throw anybody under the bus, right? Like in a rant or whatever it is, I will take ownership of it. We had talked about the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers on all of those shows. I've been screaming since December. Hey, I have the Thunder pick to come out of the Western Conference. In January, I said the same thing. In February, I said the same thing.
Way to go out on a limb.
Huh?
Way to go out on a limb.
It's not, no.
He just said not talking about them. He said
I know what he's doing. Sorry.
But he said we're not talking about it. And I'm like, bro, you're lying to the people because you're sitting up here saying, I'm watching these fools on the other network. No, you are not. You saw one clip about the Lakers that went viral. Then on the other side of things, it's like, bro, you're sitting up here calling everybody at ESPN fools and idiots. And it's one way to be joking about it. But he had this aggressiveness about him. Like he was aggressive, hands shaking, lip moving, sweating and shit. I'm like, bro, are you okay? To the point, to my point was like, my wife was like, damn, who gets that mad over another man? Like he's really that pissed off. Like seriously, this my that mad. And I'm like, nah, bro, this ain't okay. This not okay. And it's like everybody like, oh, this is how Charles Barkley talk. This is what he do. Like you got to have some type of awareness, bro, and some type of respect. By the way, you're going to be working at this network. By the way, if you think that you're going to change this network from talking about the Lakers or Golden State, LeBron and Steph, he done lost his damn mind.
So you heard what Kendrick Perkins had to say, that Charles is going to come over there and say change anything and blah, 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 and he's waiting for him and blah, 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 blah. What are my thoughts about this? Kendrick Perkins seems to be, knowing Kendrick Perkins historically, he takes offense to a lot of stuff, right? He takes offense to a lot of stuff. He's always ready to escalate things to a physical level and all of that. So that's Kendrick Perkins for you. Kendrick Perkins is not fighting Charles Barkley. It's not going to happen. He's not going to fight Charles Barkley. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, that would never happen. And if that does happen, they all need to get fired. Because how old is Kendrick Perkins? Yo, let me see. How old is Kendrick Perkins? I got to understand this. How old is Kendrick Perkins? Kendrick Perkins is 40 years old. I mean, I get it. If you're in physical danger, you need to defend yourself. Physical violence is understandable. I can't remember the last time I got into a physical fight. I mean, last time I fought was in college, and I was embarrassed with myself. And but that mother, he deserved it, because what ended up happening was he thought, because growing up in New York, and I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this show growing up in various cities where it is kind of like you have to be able to defend yourself. You have a certain level of patience and then you snap. But being the fact that I'd been removed from that for so long, you kind of mellow out a little bit. It's still in you, but you kind of mellow out a little bit. So this guy would just always like, he thought everything was like a game. He thought everything was like a game. One day he got in my face and was like, yeah, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? And I'm sitting, I'm like, yo, I'm in college right now, bro. Like, what do I look like fighting in front of the campus and then getting expelled or whatever? Like, I can't be doing this in college, right? But then one day, man, this dude he did I forgot what he did, because we're all sharing the same dorm or whatever. He did something, I forgot what he said. And I just snapped and I whooped his ass so good. So good. It felt good. Like, it did. Luckily, it didn't get out because it was in the room. It wasn't like outside or anything like that. But I sent his ass a message like, yo, just because somebody... But the point I'm making is you get to a point where you should kind of be beyond these things. I'm not looking to scrap at nobody. 36? I'm not trying to, 37. I'm not trying to scrap at nobody at this age, bro. Like, I'm trying to avoid that. Like, you want to live a peaceful life. Now, it doesn't mean that, somebody walk up to you and start trying to say, you're not going to defend. Of course you defend yourself, but nobody ain't trying to fight at this age, 30, 40, 50. So that would just be crazy if these dudes fought. I don't think that's going to happen. And Charles Barkley, I believe, is in his late 50s, 60s. So that would just even be crazier. So that's not going to happen. But in terms of what Charles said and where Charles is going, I think Charles Barkley is going to have a rough time working at ESPN because they're going to want him to twerk. And I don't think Charles Barkley is going to want to twerk. They're going to want him to dance for them and shake it up and all of that. And I don't think Charles is going to want to do it. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see if they're going to give Charles the same leeway they give like Pat McAfee, for example, who can essentially be his same usual unfiltered self. Because I think if they try to reel Charles in and try to filter and put filters on him, I think is going to kind of ruin the authenticity that Charles Barkley brings, right? Because at ESPN, they twerk it up a lot. They twerk it up a lot at ESPN. They overhype things. They over embellish things. They really twerk to the point where it's cringy, right? So I don't know if Charles is going to want to be a part of that. And it's going to be interesting to see how he kind of meshes with that crew. It's going to be really interesting. ESPN has become quite cringe. They become quite cringe of a network. Like yesterday, I think Bronny played minutes in that game. I don't remember how many points he scored. And I just opened up my phone because I was unaware. No, I think I saw him play. But anyway, he goes, Bronny James hits a three over Nikola Jokic. I look at the video and it's like, Johnny's hitting a three and Nikola Jokic is like having a soft closeout. And people in the comments like, really, ESPN? Like, this is what y'all are posting? He hit a three over Nikola Jokic? It's like, but that's what they're doing, right? So I don't know how Charles Barkley is going to react being in that circus. But Kendrick Perkins seems to be ready for him, but I don't think nothing's going to happen. If they have a shouting match, if those guys had a shouting match at ESPN, it would be embarrassing. It would be an embarrassment. Now, I've heard things happen between people, yes, but that would be embarrassing. Like, what? Where we at? Number one. Number two, how old are we? How old are we for that to be the case? Like, in your 40s and 50s, like, come on, man. Like, at a certain point, we got to carry ourselves as adults here. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.